These last 2 weeks have been absolutely insane. If you're used to the typical format of my podcast, this is not going to be it. This is going to be significantly different. I kind of want to give everyone an idea of what's been happening behind the scenes. I know a lot of you probably are like, Bert's not really interacting like he typically does, or he's been too busy apparently doing something else, and I've not really divulged what that is on this channel. Back on September 6th and September 7th, of just last month, technically, we went to Salamanca, New York, and by we, I'm talking about myself and my wife and the co-host of the other podcast that I do, Deceptive Reality, Nick. He was there on the 7th, and what we did was we investigated two of the most paranormal spots in the entire United States, one being the Hinsdale House and the second one being the Wildwood Sanitarium. Now, this was the first investigation like this that we've done. And I know on this channel specifically, I've not really talked a whole lot about it. And honestly, you've probably been a little bit confused if you've been on my YouTube channel with Retraced Echoes, because I've been dropping trailers here talking about October the 31st. We have this huge video that's coming out. And that investigation is literally what that's going to be. Now, we're going to be changing a few things going forward. Typically on Halloween, I always have a Halloween special. I've always tried to have some type of a Christmas episode. This year, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. Instead of doing the typical format that I would do on the Halloween special, this year I will be doing, I don't know how else to put it, a full investigation of those two locations wrapped up into one video. Now, this has been in the works for a year. I've just not really talked about it a whole lot on this channel, but I feel like there's a lot of paranormal teams that do a pretty good job. If anything, their episodes are entertaining, but for someone like myself that's dealt with things in my past that some could say would be ghostly or haunting, whatever your choice word is, it doesn't really fit the narrative of a lot of these TV shows or YouTube channels or anything like that. So I kind of wanted to go out and say, listen, I understand there's hauntings. Let's see what's really out there. And that's exactly what we did. So on September the 6th, it was a Friday, we drove to Salamanca, New York, and it was the Hinsdale House. It was absolutely amazing. And we've done things significantly different than most paranormal groups. So I put on a body cam as soon as we got to the location. And the reason I did that is I want everyone to understand that there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no wires. We're not setting up individual things. So I basically wanted a camera on me the entire time that I'm there. Within, obviously, if I go to the bathroom, I'm not going to tape record that, you weirdos. but there's going to be moments like that, or sleeping, because, not that you're going to get a ton of sleep in a location like that, but, it makes it difficult. But long story short, we're going to put some of this videos in a area to where you guys will be able to access most of the videos. And you're like, Bert, what do you mean most? You're saying there's cameras on you the whole entire time. There's going to be certain things that we're going to have to cut out, whether it be for privacy issues, whether it's for, there was maybe conversations that was had that I don't necessarily want in the public eye between my wife and I, or, even let's use, for example, the person that was doing the tours at the location. Like, there's going to be certain things that I'm probably going to cut out that you guys don't really need to know. And things like sleeping, if I'm sleeping or something like that, I just don't really want people to have that kind of footage. Now, that being said, we're going to create one massive video that's going to be very similar to a lot of the television shows. It's going to be not dramatized, but there's going to be sound effects, and there's going to be music, and there's going to be quick cuts. But these locations, we set up 8 cameras, 8 static cameras. I had a body camera. I had an infrared camera. And we had a plethora of tools. One of those tools being an EMF pump. And I think that gave us quite a bit of activity. and I'm super excited to show you guys the video. It's going to be coming out, like I say, October 31st, Halloween Day, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Now, Nick, on September the 7th, he ended up catching up with me at the Wildwood Sanitarium. I actually picked him up from the airport, and we went to that location, and we spent the entire night there. I'm sure some of you's like, well, did you investigate the entire time? No. When we got to the Hinsdale House, Nick was supposed to be there, but his airline canceled and he couldn't make it on that day. So it was just, I mean, to put it plain and simple, there's two of us. It was my wife and I, and we got everything set up. Paul Kenyon, who was there for the original exorcism, he ended up visiting, and he and I sat down and chatted for a while, and I showed him some of the cool stuff. He also did a stream of the investigation. It's actually on the Hinsdale House / Dandy House, or I think he may do it Dandy House / Hinsdale House on Facebook. But he was kind of shocked by some of the footage that he got while he was there. And we implemented a few things. We implemented a dead bell, and we implemented a REM pod. And for me, we used an EMF device that monitors more than just EMF. It's going to do EMF and even EMF radiation, which I think is a little bit more realistic when it comes to providing accurate portrayals of what's going on. But we used those EMFs. And for me, I don't count something as being paranormal unless there's multiple things going on. But there's going to be footage that's going to blow your mind. Now, all of those cameras recorded the entire time once we got them set up. So currently, myself, my wife, Nick, my mom, we've all been just watching camera footage. Now, imagine, I think the Hinsdale House, the average camera was up a little over 14 hours. So we literally have to sit down and watch all 14 hours of footage and comb through all the audio. I haven't even looked at audio for cassette recorders or the old metallic cassette recorders or any of that stuff. I just haven't had time for that. So we still have to comb through all that. I think as of 2 days ago, I was talking to someone. I still have over 120 hours of video to comb through. So between now and October the 31st, I have to go through all the footage, piece it all together, and make one phenomenal Halloween video for everyone. I'm super excited just to give you a little teaser of some of the things that we've been able to uncover so far. We've caught what I believe could potentially be a couple of EVPs. We caught some phenomena that looks a little weird. We had a box pushed off of a table, but probably the most important video evidence that I've seen so far. When Nick and I was at the Wildwood Sanitarium, the very first room we investigated, which was Tommy's room, it was a little boy that had lived there, I believe, when they converted it to apartment complexes. He had drowned in a body of water, and they say his spirit comes back to that house and that it spends time up in his room, what they've designated as his room, as well as the basement. We just decided to start our investigation there. So we went into the room, and I don't know how else to put it. I was literally shocked when I watched the footage back. My wife was just manning the cameras and just watching all the different camera feeds. And she knew that if something was to happen or something questionable, to let us know. And we would, if anything, try to debunk it. We want to debunk as much stuff as we can right on the spot. Well, what I believe we captured was a shadow figure walking, I say walking, gliding through the door and around Nick and to my side while I'm sitting on a bed. And then later, as we're trying to get it to move our meter, play with a little cat ball. And I know what everyone's going to say is cat ball is all fake. Again, I don't look at a cat ball and go, that is paranormal. It has to be in conjunction with other things. But the cat ball would go off and the EMF would go off at the same time. Coincidence, possibly. But we watched whatever this was. Now, the more I've watched it, I believe it came up from underneath the bed or right at the very side of the bed. But it comes up and it goes across the line of vision to a corner. There was like a little wall, and it was on the other side of the wall. So the camera was blocked where it was at the other side of the wall. Now, when it did that, the cat toy went off and our EMF went off. And then it came right back across the line of sight for the camera again. Could there possibly be even more stuff that we've not seen yet? Possibly. I have no clue. But that's what we're coming through. So unfortunately, my podcasts are going to be a little bit lacking just as we get through this footage. Hopefully you understand. I would appreciate anyone that's just going to look at that footage on Halloween night. Come over to YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. If you go to YouTube, if you've not followed me on YouTube, look up Retraced Echoes over on the old YouTube machine, because Halloween, that's going to be a game changer in paranormal. The only time I've seen footage like this is when I know it's been faked, and mine's sitting on a DVR box of a security camera that used infrared. Can't be faked. So I'm super excited to see what's in store. Hopefully, I get you to come over to the YouTube machine and watch that on Halloween. I want to thank everyone for listening, as you always have, but I kind of want to give you a little bit of an update. Hopefully, right after Halloween, we'll get back to our normal schedule. I'm still going to try to put things out every 2 weeks, as I always do on this channel, and I've got a couple things sitting in the can that I just don't have time to edit right now. I'm concentrating all my time on this Halloween video, but thanks for everyone that listens, for everyone that watches along. Until I see y'all on Halloween, goodbye.